Hey everyone, welcome to Cottonwood. My name is Andrew and I'll be your host. When my life circumstances suddenly changed, I decided to seize the opportunity and go on a road trip for 12 days to center myself, gather inspiration, and start building out the vision for what will one day become Cottonwood Loungewear. Cottonwood Loungewear is going to be a loungewear and beachwear company primarily focused on cool colors, patterns, prints, things like that. This trip is going to be a perfect opportunity for me to take some time away and really just dive into something that I've been working on for a while now. Make sure to follow my channel because I'm going to travel almost 4,000 miles through 7 states and 10 cities on a journey to turn a passion into reality. And it'll really help out my channel too, since I'm new to the YouTube community. But without further ado, let's get started. This is the Cottonwood Cross Country Adventure. I guess let me first start by saying thank you everyone so much for watching this, and I hope you all enjoy it as much as I did filming it. I'm a strong believer in positivity and making the best of any situation, so when things took a little bit of a turn earlier this year, I decided to seize that opportunity and travel around the western US to kind of just hit what I consider to be all the greatest hits of the West, places I've been wanting to see for a long time but have never gotten an opportunity to. And I just figured that I would never really have this time off again. If I tried to do a trip like this while I had a job, I would have a really hard time not thinking about work the whole time I'm gone. And that's just kind of my personality. And most of the time when I do go on a trip or have gone on trips in the past, I have been absorbed in work or have had it going on around me all the time. And there are some cases where I've kind of brought it upon myself, and some cases are legitimately outside of my control. So now we'll be taking a long trip, except this time there will be no emails, no messages, no pings, no texts, no calls, you name it, freedom. But I also want to make sure to let you guys know that I'm not advocating that everyone should do this if they find themselves without a job or something like that. Typically going on a 12-day road trip where lots of things can go wrong with no income is not usually a good idea. But I did sell my first house that I was fortunate enough to buy a couple years ago, and I sold it last year, so I am fortunate enough to have the financial ability to do this, because I know that a huge number of people would not have the freedom to just go on a 12-day road trip hitting all these places. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to film it, be able to bring it to you guys. I know this is something that I've always wanted to do. I had an absolute blast filming it, and I'm really excited for you guys to see it as well. Now, regarding Cottonwood Loungewear, Cottonwood and the idea of Cottonwood started as just a general lifestyle brand idea, and there's a couple different products that I wanted to launch as part of the brand, but initially figuring out what is going to be the most cost-effective and where I can really showcase some like creativity and design, things like that, I think doing so in the kind of loungewear and apparel side of the business is going to be a great place to start. So this trip is going to be to get inspiration for patterns or colors, and you'll hear me say this word a lot on this channel, vibes. I'm all about the vibes. So as we go to these different places, I'm going to be just kind of absorbing the feelings, the emotions, kind of the high adventure feel of being on my own, far from home. Now, to be honest, I've never done anything with apparel before as far as owning a business. But I did buy a sewing machine and taught myself how to make some simple garments because it wouldn't make me feel comfortable to sell clothing not knowing how to sew, or at least construct simple garments. I'm thinking the first product that I'm going to come out with for Cottonwood Loungewear is going to be a type of bathrobe or house robe type thing, something kind of easy breezy that you can wear while you're at work or at home, something like that. And I have made one of those with the sewing machine that I bought. But I will actually be working with a third-party company that will be manufacturing the clothing for me. Just to throw it out there, I did buy a sewing machine and I did do the work of learning how to sew. And I want to create pieces that are special and meaningful, things that you just end up wearing every single day until they're totally worn out. I know that I have a really hard time finding pieces, especially in like kind of the loungewear stuff you wear at home kind of field, that are really sort of exciting and play up the idea that you're at home. So it doesn't really matter how loud or dramatic it is, and I think everybody secretly likes a little bit of drama. So I'm hoping to bring that a little bit with this collection. Now, I also don't want to make it seem like this situation is not uncomfortable, because it is. Having things change in your professional life, and you know what I'm talking about, things got really uncomfortable. But I found that in life, some of the best moments or the biggest achievements come after times of discomfort. During the first part of our journey, we will be driving east over to Missoula, Montana, and then south to Pocatello, Idaho, where we'll be staying our first night at an Airbnb. And remember to subscribe to my channel to see all the stops, which are going to be in Pocatello, Moab, Utah, Flagstaff, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, Los Angeles, California, Monterey, California, Redding, California, North Bend, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington. And then back to Spokane. And at the beginning of this journey, I'm feeling very nervous about juggling the camera and driving and then being far from home. And this trip is going to be a portion of camping, Airbnbs, and hotels. And as you'll see, things do not necessarily go as planned, particularly because we are trying to camp in January. You'll see how that goes. And I have a terrible sense of direction, so I'm just praying that I have cell service the entire way through this trip. Even if I have to turn left across traffic into somewhere, when I'm then coming back out of that place, I turn the wrong way almost every single time. I don't even try to figure out where I'm going. I just pull over and get out the Google map, and I need help. I wish I had like a big hand of God that would reach down and just pick up my Jeep and turn it around anytime I was going the wrong way. Anyway. First stop, Wallace, Idaho. Nicknamed the silver capital of the world, this town actually produced more silver than any other mining district in the U.S., according to Wikipedia. And according to Wikipedia, Wallace came into being where 4 streams and 5 canyons all sort of converge. As Wikipedia states, the first white interest in the area was the construction of Mullen Road. American explorer John Mullen noted that quartz had been observed in the area, but later admitted downplaying the possibility of gold to his building crews because he was afraid there'd be a panicked rush to come get all the gold. The town became famous in the early 20th century for its permissive approach towards drinking, gambling, and decriminalized prostitution. During this era in history, red light districts and sex work was, and still is, highly stigmatized. However, in the mid-19th century, sex workers in Wallace could expect high status as businesswomen, community leaders, or philanthropists. I'm not sure if any of these attitudes still exist in the city of Wallace today, but since we're just here for a coffee and a bathroom break, let's get back on the road. All right, so I just pulled into St. Regis, Montana. I had to pull off the freeway because I was driving and I saw this sign that said that there was a free trout aquarium right here. So I'm going to go inside and see if there's any cool sights to see in there. I don't really need gas or anything right now, but otherwise, trip's going well so far. Well, they weren't lying. There were trout, but I think we just about have to get moving on to Missoula, which is our next city. So I'll see you there. just a quick update from out in the field. I'm somewhere close to Idaho Falls, I think, and it's 23 degrees right now, so really, really hoping that it's not this cold for the rest of the trip, but we'll see. Alright, I can't really take a good video of it right now, but I'm next to these hills that are covered in snow, but then there's yellow grass pointing out of it. And I don't know if you're going to be able to tell on camera, but it is so interesting. Oh, I can't turn the camera around. Oh no! Probably can't see it that well, but it is really interesting looking. Alright, just an update to that update. It is now this many degrees out. This many. I'm glad I chose to camp for a lot of this trip in January. Now, I'm currently on I-90 East heading towards Missoula, and from there we'll start heading south to... I need to stop touching my face. Alright, we are gonna stop and get some food in Dell. I don't know what state I'm in right now, but I think we're most of the way there. And as I'm driving, I noticed this wood-clad sort of general store along the road, so I had to pull off and take a look at it. It was the only building with like nothing else around it. And there's just something about this small wooden general store against the harsh landscape of winter that just makes me feel like I'm on a journey far from home. Apparently, this little area is called Dell, Montana, and Dell, Montana was founded as a railway stop along the Utah Northern Railway. I'll read you the rest of the town's history according to Wikipedia. And don't worry, it's short. Dell School opened in 1903 and was later converted into a restaurant. This is how it started. In 1907, the Dell Telephone Company was founded to construct and maintain a telephone system to Sheep Creek Basin. I assume that's nearby. Dell is noted for having the lightest precipitation in Montana, which is actually a little interesting. And actually, the 2020 census showed that there were 17 people living in Dell, Montana. So I think this sign from the Mercantile is from back in the good old days. Continuing my trip toward Pocatello, I'm starting to get really tired of driving. I've been on the road for, I think, 7 hours at this point, but I'm completely rejuvenated by the sight of this incredible sunset. As the mountains and land kind of opened up to this large flat plain, it was so beautiful, indescribably so. And you'll hear me say the term gorgeous a lot in these videos, but it was gorgeous! And this shot right here is probably one of my favorite shots of the whole series. It almost feels like I'm exiting my old reality and driving into a new one. Kind of this like Interstellar where they're flying through that like crinkly thing in space, the wormhole. But after all that, I finally made it to my Airbnb in Pocatello. I'm so ready to just conk out and cover tons of ground tomorrow. Next stop is going to be Moab, Utah. The next morning, the sun is barely up, but it's time to go, and I want to get as far south as quickly as possible. Alright, well it is about 6 a.m. here in Pocatello, Idaho. I just woke up. Just getting some coffee. I gotta run to Walmart to get a pillow and some towels, things like that. I've got about 7 hours before my next destination, which is in Moab. This is the only night where I'm doing first come, first serve on the campsites. So a little bit nervous to see if I'm gonna get a campsite when I arrive, but there's a couple backups I have in mind, so let's head out to Walmart, get some stuff, and hit the road again. Alright, I had to put my sunglasses on because we are now in the sunlight. It is absolutely gorgeous out here, and I am, let's see, I can't remember exactly where I'm at. I'm on Highway 15 South, I believe, just on my way to Moab, and these hills are gorgeous all around me. And the sun is warm. Oh, it's awesome. Alright, so I am driving through Salt Lake, and I got into Salt Lake about maybe 10 minutes ago, And I have got to say, I have already noticed a distinct difference in the driving around here. The driving is so aggressive, which I was not expecting for how peaceful and serene the landscape is. It's so pretty, but holy crap, every single person on this road wants to pass you on the right. Even though I'm going well over the speed limit, everybody that wants to go fast is in the right lane. I don't understand. Here goes another one. I don't understand. Okay, so it's been a few minutes, and now I think I understand why it is this way. There are a lot of lanes, and so there's not really clarity on what lane is supposed to be doing what. So one lane will be going 5 under, one lane will be going 20 over, then there's like 3 lanes over here that are merging on from the side, and they're going really fast. So just kind of a different way of driving where you're sort of navigating through the traffic. All right, so I'm about an hour and a half outside of Salt Lake City. Traffic has died down a little bit, and we went from sunny weather to now some clouds in front of us. I'll show you what that looks like here in a second, but yeah, it looks like we might be driving into a storm. Alright, so we're only a few hundred miles into our journey at this point, but the conditions have been less than clean. A quick rinse off and we're back on the road. The first time I got the true sense of how incredibly huge the landscape is in this area is when I stopped at one of the first rest stops that I decided to pull over at along my tour. This has to be one of the best views that I've ever seen, let alone seeing it from a roadside bathroom. I'm sure visiting here during the summer would feel different, but it's really crazy how far out you can see and how deep the canyons go. Next time on the Cottonwood cross-country adventure. Couple hairy moments there for a minute. I had a tree coming into the car here for a second. There's mainly mountain lions out here, and that they're primarily active at nighttime in the winter, and that you should definitely not be alone. It's about as cold as it looks in this picture.